Hi everyone, in this video we're having a quick look at why we don't need to look outside of ourselves for validation and reassurance. So we already know this when we're consciously manifesting, however it's very easy to do because we are human and we have created our whole identity and our whole existence by looking outside of ourselves for the validation and reassurance that we exist, that we are here in this reality and that we exist and we have a place in this world. So since we were born, essentially, we've always been looking outside of ourselves to our parents, to our friends, to our family. As we were growing up in our infancy to our childhood and into our school years, we've always been looking outside of ourselves for what we're supposed to be doing here on this earth. And we've always been looking outside of ourselves to tell ourselves who we are. So essentially, we created our whole identity around what was going on around us, rather than understanding that we actually know it from within first. So as we grow up and we go into our institutions like school and work, and we are still looking outside of ourselves for our identity, we understand then that when we come into conscious manifesting, that it's all about the beliefs that we have created around this identity by looking outside of ourselves for the validation and the reassurance. So because we have done that, we come into this whole concept of conscious manifesting, where we know that that it's in the word conscious, and we have to be more aware of what we are thinking in order to create a different result in our reality. Then we know that we never have to look outside of ourselves for validation or reassurance, because we only ever did that in the past to create the identity that we're in right now. However, if we're looking outside of ourselves and we don't like what we see in our reality, maybe we want to create more money, more happy relationships, better health, and all of these things, it is important for us to go within. We're never going to get the outside validation or reassurance from the old identity that we created from everyone and everything outside of us until we actually create this new identity within ourselves. So when we're consciously manifesting, that is all we have to know. When we're allowing ourselves to look outside of ourselves for validation and reassurance, understand that that's not where we're going anymore. We're actually coming into the present moment more. We're becoming more conscious and aware and awake of our thoughts. And because we're becoming more conscious, aware, awake of our thoughts, we're creating a different reality to experience. We're creating whatever it is that we are manifesting. So when we look outside of ourselves for the validation and reassurance of this manifestation, we're never going to see it if we don't actually think it first. So we got to keep thinking about it and keeping our mindset on it. Understand that when your manifestation shows up, it's going to show up in a way that may be unexpected. We never have to know the how. And so the trust and the belief comes within ourselves, that we're able to see beyond what is going on, that we know that we're creating this from within now. So our importance comes from within. Our existence comes from within. Everything that I am creating is being created from within. So I got to create the validation and the reassurance within. It's not about having faith in, it's not about having faith about what I see out there when it manifests. It's about building that faith within myself, that belief within myself. We're not hoping anymore. We don't hope for things to happen. We intend and we believe in these things happening because we intend for ourselves in an optimistic way, and we believe in ourselves in an optimistic way. Now, if anyone is wavering, understand that the wavering does not matter. Neuroplasticity is when we dwell on things for a period of time that the neurons create in our brain, and then our subconscious mind starts to accept that this is a possibility for us to experience. So with that being said, that is all we were doing in the past when we created negative experiences. So if you look at things in the past that may have happened in a negative way, maybe you didn't dwell on it when it was in the process of manifesting. Maybe it just came out of the blue. But what happened afterwards? Maybe you had a period of time where you dwelled on the negativity. You believed in the circumstance more than you believed in yourself in those moments. And so that kind of caused the spiral, and that's what caused then the neurons to create, and maybe it caused it to be more harder to deal with, because the neurons were being created in this way. But it's the same when we go in the positive direction. So when we're manifesting, understand that we're going to have negative thoughts, we're going to have doubt and disbelief, and that is normal, because we are human and we have emotions. But also as well too, we learned how to be by looking outside of ourselves on how to be. But because we're not doing that anymore, we're going within now, there's going to be times where we'll have doubt, because we're seeking the reassurance within and the validation within. And it takes some time because we need to dwell on that for a period of time for the neurons to create and create in an optimistic way. And so it takes a little bit of time to build that belief and strength and confidence within yourself as well too. So it's never about being perfect when we're manifesting. It's not about having more faith in not seeing things. It's more about having faith in yourself and having that trust in yourself, knowing that everything is unfolding in a beneficial way for me no matter what. Even if I see circumstances that I don't like, it's got a purpose. There's something happening here that I got to learn, or there's something telling me that there's a belief I need to overcome, or there's something that is benefiting me in some way. And you will find that as you continue to think in those ways, over a period of time, this is what is happening in your brain. Your brain is becoming used to this new identity within. It's not looking outside of itself anymore for the validation or the reassurance, because it's creating it all within. The neurons are firing up and they're wiring together, and they're starting to create these possibilities of what it is that we are manifesting into our life. And our subconscious mind is seeking the how to create this manifestation in our life as well too. So understand, it's okay to not it's okay to waver, it's okay to have moments of doubt and fear and all of that type of thing. However, it's just, how long are we going to dwell on it? How are we going to come into it and say to ourselves that, okay, it's just part of the human experience, but I know that everything is working out for me anyway? Because these are the kind of neurons that are, as I say, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, firing and wiring together. The ones that we dwell on the most. It's our dominant way of thinking. So it doesn't matter if I have a day where I'm going to be sad and I'm going to be feeling grief or anything like that, because the next day maybe I say, right, okay, I had my time of spiraling, but I'm going to pick myself up today and get back onto my dominant way of thinking, which is optimistic. So when we're consciously manifesting, it's not about looking outside for the validation or the reassurance, because really all that was before, or all it is still now, is to look outside of ourselves for our identity. But we're creating our identity within. Our identity comes from within first. So when we get into this habit of understanding that and creating the mindset and the behaviors of what creates our identity from within, which is really coming from our values and what we believe in, these are the moment that we continue with these habits and way of thinking, it'll start to become more natural and normal to us. And then you'll just see how things unfold in a better way, because we're thinking on a dominantly optimistic way every single day. So I just wanted to make a video on that. If you have any questions, you can comment down below and I will chat to you soon.